Hello, and welcome to Tech Latest by Nikkei Asia, where we bring you the freshest updates from the technology sector in Asia. Every episode, one of our reporters from the region will be filling us in on the tech news on their radar, from semiconductors in China, to space travel in Japan, to startups in Indonesia. From Nikkei Asia's Tokyo headquarters, I'm Alice French. In this episode, I'm talking to Cissy Zhou, one of our correspondents from Hong Kong, about ByteDance's recent shock layoffs and what they mean for the gaming industry in China and beyond. Hi, Cissy. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Hi, Alice. Thanks for having me today.
So we're talking this week about a big shakeup in the gaming industry that came from China's ByteDance. Can you tell us a bit about what happened?
This week, ByteDance implemented the biggest shakeup of its gaming unit. In short, the company is shutting down most of its gaming projects. Although there were already some signs before the big retreat, the change is still quite significant because gaming was once regarded as a key segment of ByteDance. And my source told me that ByteDance will discontinue all games that have not been launched yet, except for a few innovative ones. And it will also try to sell the titles that are already available in the market. As a result, ByteDance will lay off around 1,000 people in the gaming unit. Also this month, ByteDance already laid off about 300 people, or 23% of the total employees in its VR arm called Pico, because the unit is struggling with sales at home and abroad.
Wow, 1,000 layoffs, that's pretty major. And of course, ByteDance is the parent company of the immensely popular social media app TikTok, but its foray into gaming is maybe less well known. So when did ByteDance start investing in the gaming industry and how has it gone so far? I'm getting the impression that it maybe hasn't been going that well.
Yeah, you're right. So ByteDance started to invest aggressively in gaming in 2016. It set up a game unit called Newverse. It also acquired Pico, the world's second largest VR headset maker, in 2021 with $1.3 billion US. And also in the same year, it acquired a mobile gaming studio called Mutong for a reported $4 billion US. So ByteDance was once regarded as a strong competitor to challenge Tencent, China's biggest gaming company. But the performance of its gaming business has been quite disappointing. ByteDance started to make substantial cuts in its gaming operation as early as the second half of 2021. And also last year, numerous jobs were already cut at Newverse, and ByteDance also disbanded one of its main game studios. In those internal meetings, ByteDance CEO has repeatedly said that the company's core businesses should be Douyin, TikTok, and e-commerce, and they should focus on these businesses instead.
But we know that ByteDance's staff cut has happened against a backdrop of slowing economic growth for China overall. Do you get the impression that the layoffs are reflective of pessimism in China's tech industry as a whole? And might we see some similar moves by other big companies in the future?
China's gaming sector has been struggling to recover amid a global economic downturn, which is not unique in China, But Tencent has sort of managed to maintain growth due to its very strong portfolio. But for ByteDance, gaming is a business that is beyond its expertise, because gaming relies more on human judgment and often requires investments of hundreds of millions of yuan before a product could be launched. So against this backdrop, it might be good for ByteDance to focus on its core businesses, which they are very good at. And in the past 2 years, all Chinese tech companies have been talking about focusing on their core businesses and scaling back less profitable businesses. Of course, that means continuous layoffs. Some tech companies have argued that they are still hiring and the situation is not that bad. But the fact is, some companies would lay off workers first, then replace them with much more inexperienced and cheaper workers. And within the tech industry, I think people are expecting more layoffs in the future.
And it seems like for ByteDance, as for many other big Chinese tech companies, one of those core businesses is turning into being AI, particularly generative AI, and in particular, large language models, right? So what exactly are ByteDance's AI ambitions, and which of their other businesses are they particularly focusing on after having slightly given up on gaming?
Compared to rivals, ByteDance has been sort of slow in releasing its own large language models. And the company quietly launched its AI bot, which is called Doubao, in August, and added an AI assistant to its office tool, which is called Feishu, this month. They are doing all this generative AI related stuff in a very low profile way. But in the past 2 months, ByteDance CEO Liang Rubo had doubled down the exploration of AI business in internal meetings and said the company will adjust corporate structure to align with its AI push. Although there has been no top-down instructions about how dedicated the company should be to develop generative AI, but the company is taking it very seriously. And my source told me that the team of Douyin, the domestic version of TikTok, is also researching how to leverage AI to transform the platform. But both TikTok and Douyin are based on the AI algorithm. So it's one of the expertise. Also, ByteDance has established a department which is called Flow, dedicated to developing AI applications. Employees from different departments, such as Douyin and Feishu, have been dispatched to the AI team too.
Okay, so ByteDance's foray into AI will definitely be something to keep an eye on, and especially going forward, particularly given the recent drama with OpenAI, we'll definitely need to be monitoring China's AI industry for sure. Well, thank you so much for that rundown, Cissy. And just before we go, are there any other tech-related stories from our website that you'd like to recommend this week?
Yeah, I would recommend another story of mine. Sorry for that. But I think that's quite significant, which is about a stark indication of how much has changed in China's vast e-commerce sector. Because PDD Holdings, Alibaba's biggest domestic rival, surpassed Alibaba for a short-lived period in New York last night in terms of market cap, and became the most valuable Chinese company listed in the US, although it only lasted a few hours. But that's a very significant move in this sector. So please check out more details on the website.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and I hope that we can speak to you more in 2024. Thanks so much, Cissy, and I will speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Alice. Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode. You can read more of Cissy's reporting, along with a host of other stories about Asia's tech industry, on Nikkei Asia's website, asia.nikkei.com. And if you like what you hear, why not subscribe to our weekly Tech Asia newsletter, which will be delivered to your inbox every Thursday. There's a link to sign up in the show notes. And whilst we still have you, if you're enjoying Tech Latest and would like to support us, please do give us a follow on whichever podcast platform you use. We also really appreciate any reviews you can leave, as these help new listeners to find our episodes. Thank you, and check back in next time for more updates on the tech trends that matter.